Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of the Grow Podcast. You guys know what we do here. We talk about people's growth stories, and the goal, as always, is to inspire you and work with you on your growth journey. As always, I have a co-host, Jennifer Jones.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Okay, today we have someone very special. Well, she's the founder and publisher of Tahlequah Neighbors. She just recently became an ambassador for the Tahlequah Chamber of Commerce, and you also work with an organization at Advertiser called Racism Stings.
Correct.
She's the one and only Sara Frazier.
Yay.
How you doing? How you
I'm
guys
good.
doing?
Good.
Good.
It's been a long week of work. How's it been?
Good. Busy.
Good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing? With 3, what do I call it now? 3
Organization.
organizations that you're trying to work with and build. How is that going for you? Busy?
It stays pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't imagine. Okay, we go straight into it because we have lots of things to talk about. And we're just going to, honestly, what we do is just, this is a learning experience for us. We just get people on the podcast and we just want to hear your story, and just learn from your experience, and hopefully to 1 or 2 people watching or that would listen to this podcast do the same, and that's just all we do. So I'll kick this off and just tell us about you. Who is Sara Frazier?
Well, publisher of a magazine. I'm a mom. I don't know.
Yeah. You grew up in Tahlequah, right?
I did. I moved here when I was about 6.
So you were not born here.
I was not. I was actually born in my grandmother's house in North Tulsa.
Oh, wow.
So that's still in the area.
Yeah, it's
Ish.
still in
Yeah.
Yeah. And then moved here when I was 6 because my parents came here to finish school.
So since you were 6, you've been here.
So it's like 32, 33 years. It's home.
Well, you just kind of told us your age.
It's okay. Hey, I
That's
feel like I wear
comfortable.
my age pretty well.
32, 33 plus 6. Yeah, that gives you the answer.
Yep. Ish. I said ish.
Okay, so what was growing up like?
In Tahlequah?
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't uber exciting. Like there was 4 kids and 2 parents for about half of that time. And then, I don't know, we were broke all the time. So it wasn't awesome, but it wasn't terrible. Could have been worse.
Yeah.
It's grown a lot.
You've been in Tahlequah, right? Like, were you born in Tahlequah?
I was born in Tahlequah, yep.
Yeah.
So
Like, all your life you've been
my
here?
whole life I've been here.
What is it about Tahlequah?
I think there's just a vortex here that, like, once you come here, you either never leave or you end up coming back. Like,
Yeah.
there's something that pulls people back.
I kind of like feel the same way too, because I was born and raised like in a large, very busy city. So when I first came to Tahlequah, I was like, nah,
There's nothing here.
I can't do it. But like you said, you just kind of get drawn into it. But what is it for you? What kept you here? Because you don't look like you're going to leave anytime soon.
No. A family. I mean, all my family's here.
Yeah.
And I went to college here. So it's just,
Have you ever lived somewhere else and then come back, or no?
no.
Wow.
My address has always been Tahlequah.
Wow.
I did leave for 1 year and then I came back because I got pregnant. So After I had my baby, I came back.
Tell us about that. What was that story like?
That was a wild part of my life.
I
Moved up
kind of
there.
feel like it's still wild, but go ahead.
In comparison, maybe.
Yeah,
But,
just pulling your legs.
I was with my son's father for about 5 years. Ended up pregnant, which was, I mean, it was a good thing. I think it was, I actually call my son my savior child, because had I not gotten pregnant when I did, I don't know where I would be.
And your son would be, that's your first child, right?
Yeah, he'll be 15 next month.
Okay.
So some things occurred during that time when I was pregnant, and I was just like, you know what, I don't want to live like this. So I had my son, and then about a week after he was born, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go see my mom, and I never went back. And then I enrolled in college like 2 months later and finished that time.
Yeah. You know, our second episode, we had 2 single moms here, and they kind of shared their experience as single parents and parenting. And I asked this question, I'm going to ask you too. When you got pregnant, was he in the picture?
Mm-hmm.
Was he with you through the journey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you kind of had...
We were in a relationship. Now, defining like whether he was with me or...
Yeah. So at what point...
He was not an awesome significant other the entire time, but...
So at what point did you realize that I'm going to be in this thing by myself?
Yeah, I knew that.
All the time?
With him, I did, yeah.
Even while he was there?
Yeah.
Oh boy. When did it become like reality? You have 2 kids, right?
I have 2.
Okay.
So with my oldest, I mean, that was like probably my second, first-ish, I don't know.
Yeah.
Adult relationship, and I have terrible taste in men, especially back then. But I just knew, I mean, I knew I'd be doing it by myself. Now his dad is involved, but
How old were you?
I was 24 when I had him.
That's old enough. That's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wasn't like 19.
I was 25 when I had Harlow. So.
I know the other single mom we had, I think she was 17. Jen, she was 17, 18 when she had her.
All my friends that I went to school with, that I was really good friends with, had babies. But if they did not have them by the time we were seniors, it was like they were pregnant walking across the stage.
I guess you went to Tahlequah High School since you were born here. Tahlequah High School.
Mm-hmm. Tahlequah High School.
All of you.
Yep.
Told you, Tahlequah just...
Wow. So, I know you've never been married.
Nope.
You were engaged once.
I was.
You want to share that story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where should I start?
Start from where you want to start.
Well, it's my youngest son's father. I met him in 2011, and at one point he had proved to me that like not all men were the same. But at the end of it,
that would mean he was good.
He was good. Like
okay.
I hands down, I love that man more than I ever loved anybody else. But he eventually proved to me that they're not all the same. Sometimes they're worse. So he was a very large lesson in like, you have those points in your life where it was like life before and life after.
Yeah.
He was one of those points. I don't regret it. I mean, even though as horrible as things went down, learned a lot of growth, a lot of.
How much detail can we get?
Well,
I like details. Sorry.
Well, I mean, let me back up. I've worked in child welfare, and I feel like it's like one of those things where I feel like it's all connected, because like I had graduated college with my early childhood degree. Second graders did me, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to be stuck in a box doing this year after year. Like, bless you teachers, I can't do it. COVID even like drove that stake further in. I was like, I can't do this. So I was looking for better money and better benefits. So I kind of had prided myself on being able to disconnect myself from people, places, and things fairly easy. Yeah, the job taught me how to feel, and like, I don't know. But anyway, so to the end of the relationship, so my ex was a product of the system. He aged out of the foster care system, and he hid his trauma very, very well. And then I really people will tell you I'm crazy, but looking back at how everything went down, I really think the birth of our son triggered his childhood,
His-
because
yeah.
right after that, like he just started, being gone more, drinking more, doing these like, who are you kind of. So finally I was like, you got to go. I can't do this with you. So long story short, about a month and a half after I made him leave, he thought I was moving on. And so
Yeah.
he showed up at my house drunk and tried to kill me in front of my kids. And I was like,
Wow.
well, this is how that's going.
Like
So
literally tried to
Yeah.
kill you.
like broke teeth, couldn't go to work for a week. And I worked for child welfare, and he did it in front of my children.
Wait, you were working for child welfare when this happened?
Hmm.
Wow.
I was investigated by child welfare because he did it in front of my kids. And so thankfully, like a week before all that happened, I had finished the domestic violence training. That's why I'm thinking it's all connected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really think that had I not been doing the job that I was doing, and even like been at that training, like I don't know that I would have made the same decisions. And I don't know that I would have stuck with following through on the criminal side of it, because the criminal side of it is exhausting. Like it took us 18 months to get a conviction. And I really think that it kept me where I needed to be, because I couldn't do my job with integrity if I wasn't willing to walk that same line as other domestic violent moms.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I was really going with that, but but then like a month after he had, my face was black and blue, like just strangulation marks, all kinds of stuff. But a month after that, it was like 3 or 4 days before the PO hearing, because this was like around Christmas, so everything kept getting pushed back because there weren't judges there, blah blah blah. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I lived on a second story apartment, like on the second story of an apartment.
Yeah.
And I woke up to him tapping on my shoulder and taking my phone and like wouldn't let me leave, would not leave.
Wait, let's understand. You guys didn't live together.
Oh, I had kicked him
At
out
that
like in
point.
October.
So he was not
He tried to kill me
he
in
was
December.
not in the house.
No, I had a PO against him.
And you woke up to him tapping you on the shoulder.
Hmm.
So
So he actually came in through a window,
Wow.
took my phone,
okay.
couldn't leave for like 5 hours. Now, he didn't like hurt me, but I had to be very
Yeah.
compliant and very like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, anytime I tried to combat any of the crap that he was screaming at me,
Yeah.
I was just like, this isn't going to end well. So I was like, no, I won't call the cops. Just go. Took his TV because he bought it. take the TV. And then when he left, I called the police, and marshals went and picked him up from his job. And yeah, he was a 5-time felon by the time it was all over.
So that lasted 5 hours.
Yeah, because it was like
Wow.
5, and I think he finally left around 9. So it was like 4 or 5
Yeah.
hours. So
So why did he leave? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
just because I had just been like, just go. Begged him enough. And it was getting like daylight. And then my landlord lived right next door to me. And
Yeah.
he knew that if they saw him, that it was going to be crazy. So, yeah.
Wow. Now your leaving child welfare, was it tied to that?
Do what?
You left child welfare, you left DHS at some point.
No, it wasn't really necessarily tied to that. I was just tired of, it's exhausting. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. If you work child welfare for any amount of time, it changes you. Like, it changes the way you see people. It changes the way you see the world. You like, if I had $1 for every time somebody said, hey, I couldn't do your job because I would do X, Y, Z to the parents. I used to think like that too. But man, when you get in there and you start dealing with these parents and talking to them, and you really get them to talk to you, you may not agree with what you do, but you understand why they do what they do.
Yeah.
And that really like skews your whole, like, I don't know. I still have like anxiety, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It screwed me up a little bit. So it was like this double-edged sword where I was like, I'm thankful for it, but I'm also like, man.
Yeah.
With I just want to ask, with all that you went through, especially with the father of the second child, how did it affect you? The kids, let's go with the kids first. How did it affect the kids?
So my oldest one, he remembers it very clearly. He changed. Like, he was checking locks. He was, to make sure there was nobody coming. And he's not as happy-go-lucky as he used to be.
Yeah.
He's very like, I don't even know how to explain it. My youngest one, really it didn't affect him because he hadn't really been around his dad in like 18 months. I had entertained the idea of getting back with him, only to really, like, was like, I really don't like who you've become.
Yeah.
He started drinking a lot more. And so my youngest son hadn't seen him in like year and a half. It sucked having to tell him because he was like,
Yeah.
Mom, why did you keep him from me? And I was just like, oh, let me back up. My son's father is now deceased.
Oh, wow.
He died in December of 2019. That's why, sorry, I just jumped to like, he was
You're
like, why didn't you
fine.
tell me?
Oh,
So I don't know that he's really going to be impacted by
yeah.
what happened because he was there, he was awake. But I think that he will be impacted by the loss of his father.
Yeah.
But he knows already, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me like 36 hours to tell him. Because I was like,
That's
man,
rough.
sucks.
Yeah.
I was the second person to find out other than the person that found him. Cops called me in Tulsa. I was like, oh my God.
Cops called you. That kind of leads one with. I like to know kind of what happened to him. How did he die?
So during that time that I had contact with him, and I mean, in all honesty, I did forgive him for what he did because it was just so much anger and hurt that I was carrying around. I actually lost my best friend of 20 years because I forgave him. Still haven't talked to her, and that's fine. But when I had contact with him, he had told me that he had cancer, but like there was never any proof. There was never any like, but I do remember, he was sitting on my bed one day and he got up and like, there was just like a big puddle of blood up underneath him. So I'll just let you use your imagination as to where all that came from. So I knew he was sick. He didn't look good. But he was very much a trigger for me. So I just had to like keep him away.
Yeah, yeah, man. I don't know, but and there's no excuse to what he did.
Right.
You don't want to excuse it, but with the trauma he had as a child.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's not excusable.
Yeah,
But
and then with probably all what he was going through inside with his health and stuff, and I don't know how much support he had, or he probably just
initially he did, but I really feel like his drinking pushed so many people away.
Yeah.
I mean, because it got to, I mean, with just like with any addict, you start dealing with lying and you start dealing with.
And again, maybe the drinking was just him trying to cover up.
Oh, that's why people
that
drink
he
and
was-
do drugs.
yeah.
I mean, to an extent, like people drink alcohol to just have fun, but people who drink or use meth or, the hard stuff, it's all trauma. It's all trauma.
You had told me some of this story before, and really when you told me this, like you didn't
Was
tell
it
me
that
the
graphic?
details. I was like, no, I was like, you know what, he can go to blah blah blah.
Right.
But now knowing the trauma he had as a child, and then the whole health issues he had, I just kind of like feel like,
So I couldn't be mad at him. I mean, and that's why, I mean, even though my best friend for 20 years, like she couldn't grasp, like, because I work child welfare, I understand how trauma and I understand how it perpetuates. I mean,
yeah,
he's tried so hard not to perpetuate the familial cycle
yeah,
that he inadvertently ended up doing it anyway.
That's what I was going to say. It's kind of like what you had mentioned about, working in there. You kind of hear how they have dealt or had that trauma. And so that trauma has caused other things in their lives to happen. And so.
And the number of families that you see, like I can think of 5 families off the top of my head that the state was involved with them, their mama, their grandma,
And
their
it
aunt,
just
their
continues.
cousins. And it's just like this.
Cycle.
and that really is the big thing, breaking that cycle.
Yeah.
Breaking that cycle, because you have people that probably have not healed.
Well, and you don't have access to
yeah.
quality mental health and substance abuse. And then whenever you get into cultural things,
Yeah,
men it's stigmatized with. People within the African American community it's stigmatized, and he's African American.
man. Yep. We've talked about this for so long. And like this is not why we're here, but
But I mean, it's good stuff. It's good.
It's very good,
you
yeah.
just brought up something
For
that I really want to dive into it, but I feel like we can go on and on for.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably have episode 3, part 1 and part 2. I mean, God bless you. So
Yeah.
but I'm also very happy that you moved on.
I did.
And that
I got weird for a
yeah,
while. I'm still kind of weird. I got this, got this whole introvert extrovert thing that I didn't have before. But I mean, that's kind of what drove me, because the things that I was doing in the past that I took after that professionally were distractions, because I left DHS after pretty much being headhunted by a private agency in Tulsa. And then as I was working downtown Tulsa, I'm telling you the story of how I got to where I'm at, because it's like this weird jerk of events. Like I don't know. It's very ADD-ish, which fits. But anyway, working for a private agency, opening new foster homes, doing home studies. And then a recruiter position came open, and I was like, you know what? My personality, my knowledge of the system, I kind of have a passion for this. Like at the time, I loved what I did. So I took the recruiter position, and in pursuit of finding minority foster parents to match the dynamics of kids in custody with relation to kin, culture, and community, I had signed the agency up for the Women of Color Expo that KJAMS in Tulsa does every year. I went in to go do my commercial, came out of the booth, and started having a random conversation with a woman who I didn't know who she was. I know I'd listened to that station since I was like 12, but ended up being the GM. And she was like, I sat there and talked to her for like 45 minutes to an hour. Should have been getting back to work, but I was technically still on the clock, right? But anyway, she's like, if you ever think about like changing career paths, just let me know. And I was like, okay. So I went home, thought about it. At the expo, the Women of Color Expo, I saw her in passing. I was like, I've been thinking about updating my resume. So next thing I know, I'm in Oklahoma City talking to Kevin Perry, end up getting the job. And then it was an experience. I loved the people that I worked with, but with the distance and like, there are some other factors. I was like, you know what, this isn't going to work. So I was looking for something different, responded to an ad, and I was like, man, I can't do this. I got to go.
Yeah. You joined DHS 2015. You joined Child Welfare 2015, and you left
2018. I think it was December of 2018.
2018, and this whole incident
no, maybe 17.
So the whole
it's
incident,
a whole blur.
The whole incident with your child's father happened 2015. Okay.
So I started in February of 2015 with DHS.
Yeah.
The domestic situation, December of that same year.
Okay, so I want to show you this. I'm pretty sure you remember this. It's the Super Mom Awards, and it was presented to you by, is that Breathe Again?
Do what?
Okay, In the Eyes of a Man Summit. And
so, In the Eyes of a Man Summit, it was a panel of, go ahead, ask your question, sorry.
Okay, no, it's really not a question. I want to just read what you wrote. This last Saturday, I was honored with a Best Mom Award during the In the Eyes of a Man Summit. It was humbling to be nominated and a huge honor to be chosen to be awarded alongside some of the most phenomenal moms I know. As moms, we may feel like we are failing our children every single day. But this award goes to show that even though we may not feel like we are doing a great job, someone somewhere recognizes our strengths and the sacrifices we make in the name of motherhood. Sometimes they even nominate you to make sure people see what you were doing. 4 years after you had that experience, how does that make you feel?
So let me tell you about how I even found out that I got this award. So, In the Eyes of a Man Summit was advertised through KJAMS.
Yeah.
And I happened to have a meeting with this woman named, Janelle Forbes, who's like, she's in Atlanta now doing some big things.
Yeah.
But like, so I meet with her at a Starbucks, and she says my name. She's like, Sara Frazier. She's like, why does that sound so familiar? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, oh my gosh, you were one of the moms that was nominated for the Best Moms Award. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, we're giving out awards this Saturday. You got to be there. She was like, your name was chosen. But I guess something happened with her administrative person that for whatever reason I wasn't contacted. Yeah. So it happened to be this chance encounter to do advertising for this event that was happening.
Yeah.
And I found out who had nominated me, and she's actually one of my clients in my Tulsa magazine, or the magazine that is in Tulsa. But it was just like this, I would have never known had I not met with this woman. And anyway, phenomenal. Like, she was like, you were nominated, and then her and oh my gosh, he's an actor. He's worked with a lot of like Tyler Perry movies. They made their selections based on what was written and then like our photos. And she was like, you were one of them. I know you were. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was kind of crazy.
That's weird. I just thought it was cool. After you've had those experiences, and about 4 years later, to have this kind of recognition, I just thought it was kind of testimony, kind of shows how much you have moved and changed and worked on yourself.
And there's always people
and
watching.
stuff. Yeah, so there's people watching. Okay, so let's go into.
I totally forgot about that until you brought it up earlier. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I creeped on you. Okay, so let's go into Tahlequah Neighbors. You are the founder publisher of Tahlequah Neighbors. First of all, you studied early childhood education.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you move from early childhood education to becoming this advertising,
me in. I was like, I'm not doing this. I decided teaching wasn't what I wanted to do. I really went into teaching because that's what my parents did.
Yeah.
Had I known now, or then what I knew now, I don't think I ever would have went to college.
So how did you find out that marketing, advertising was what you wanted to do? Is it like a natural gift, or?
I guess I just kind of fell into it. I guess my personality and my ability to just talk to anybody, it just kind of fit.
Are you a marketing person? I'm not.
Yeah. So in my part of my degree, you have to have marketing classes.
Really? No. If you give me something in the market, no. I just know it's not the strength of mine, so I don't even.
You never know. Anybody can do it.
Trust me.
It's sales. It's sales. And I work with a phenomenal company who takes they really make it easy. So, it's just, I don't know. The magazine itself was brilliant. And I don't walk out on jobs, but I walked out of the job that I was at with this.
So how did you come up with this? Like how did this dream start for Tahlequah Neighbors?
I answered an ad on Glassdoor. I responded to it. They called me back. And at first I was like, this has got to be too good to be true.
Wait, sorry. What did the ad say?
It was for I don't even remember what it said. It was for something with publishing or a magazine or something that was in Muskogee. And then so when I answered, it was a phone interview. I was like, he's like, actually, you know what? We could actually do it in Tahlequah. And actually my next place to launch one is going to be the Muskogee Fort Gibson area. But what was the question? Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, how did the dream start? So you answered an ad.
I did. I just responded. I was looking for another job, so I didn't want to leave one job without another one. And it was so good that I literally quit that week, took off to Milwaukee for training for a couple of days, came back, and that was in September of 19. Yeah. And so when I got back from Milwaukee for training, I started pursuing it, and I waitressed. I worked at Lenny Bros. I worked at La Grubs. I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings as I was meeting businesses to launch this. So I was actually in print within 5 months.
Yeah. But the concept of the magazine was your idea.
No.
So the whole concept was their idea.
It's the blueprint of the company that I'm contracted with.
Oh.
What these guys did was back when MySpace was big, and Facebook had started creeping onto the scene.
Yeah.
They saw very quickly that we are going to be more connected than ever through the internet and social media, but we are going to become more disconnected as families, neighbors, and as communities. Yeah. They weren't wrong. So what they did was they designed it and worked on it for 6 years before they launched it for people people for me to do in our communities, and really got it down to a science. But they take what works in social media, they do some micro targeting, and the target is homeowners over a certain income and home value, and then apply it to print. It's all for by and about the community. There's no politics. There's no issues that pin us together as people. Pin us against each other as people. It's all about useful content and community.
So how many issues have you done so far?
Let's see, March, April, May. So the one that you have in your hands is my 15th.
Oh, wow.
Issue.
Wow.
Because it comes out every month.
So just like you said, this is not a news publication. Mm-mm. It's just strictly people within community.
There's literally for, by, and about the people of the community.
Yeah. Wow. This is really interesting though. So this guys have this idea, and it's just basically get people within communities to publish magazines about their community, connect people together within these communities.
Right.
It's really cool.
Because here's the thing: is if
It's
you
really
get
cool
this
how people
magazine,
come up with ideas. you know?
Yeah.
if you get this magazine in your mailbox, and then you get, I don't know, there's some quarterly ones that we get in our mailboxes.
Yeah.
You are much more likely to pick this up and look at it if you know this person on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
You're much more likely, if you know that your friend that owns such and such business writes articles for this every once in a while, you're more likely to open this up.
Yeah.
If you know I've got a calendar of event and we do our best to figure out what is going on,
Yeah.
you're not having to go to Facebook and Google and event.com. You know, I do what I can to have it all here for you.
Oh yeah.
There's stuff for kids to do. There's, I don't know.
And the cool thing about this is because I saw this on Facebook first, like the whole, of course we're friends on Facebook, and I saw your whole post about Tahlequah Neighbors. But when I actually met with you and finally got a copy of the magazine, I was really impressed with the quality of the magazine.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, Tahlequah Neighbors, Tahlequah, I kind of felt it was going to be like some,
Cheesy.
you know, like some cheap stuff. But I think the first one you gave me was, this is June, probably February.
Maybe.
Was that the first time we met in person? I think February, January. And I was,
So it may have been this issue.
yeah, I think so. And I was super impressed with the quality of the magazine. That was the first thing that caught my attention, like the attention to it's a proper, like,
Yeah.
this can go anywhere, anywhere, any city, any state, and it will
well.
stand out. It will do well.
And like you said, it has a little bit of everything in here. I mean, it even tells, at the car wash, it tells how much.
Yeah. How are you going to get free 14 days free? I mean,
It's pretty cool.
There's always some, if we can get one kid per community to step away from the electronic devices to do the stuff that we have in Kids Corner,
Yeah.
then I feel like I'm winning. I can't even get my own children to do it. So, but really, I mean, we have, like, I have experts from different areas like insurance, law, optometrists, firearm safety and training. And, you know, once per quarter, each of those people is able to write educational pieces, because I found that no matter what industry you work in, there is always something that the consumers or people who frequent your establishment do that drive the people who work in it nuts. So that's kind of a platform to be like, hey, this is why you should do this. This is why you should not do this. Or if you're having this issue, come and talk to me. So it's like a way for them to promote themselves as well. It's all useful content that you can be like, you know, what was that article about firearm safety, or what, there was something about ammunition in there. You'll probably find it. And we feature animals. I've had everything from silky chickens to a one-eyed, three-legged cat to a therapy horse that works with kids on the autism spectrum.
And you said this is the 15th.
Right? Is that right? So April, May. Yeah.
April last year. So let me ask you.
Or March of last year. Math is not my forte. That's why I was an early childhood major.
What's the response been like?
It's been really good. It's fun to, of course, they usually catch me when I'm in public, like hoodie on, masked up, mascara from last night because I didn't wash my face. But people will stop me and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're the magazine lady," or "Hey, keep doing what you're doing," or "Hey, can you like post this about, you know, whether it's recipes or." The response has been awesome from the community and the businesses that I work with.
Wow. So it's a monthly publication. How do you distribute? Like, how can people get it?
So it is actually targeted to homeowners who make in Tahlequah about $67,000 or more annually. Okay. And right now, my distribution is 3,256 homes. I've actually expanded about 300 homes and 4 pages since I have been in print. But as it continues to grow and there's more revenue coming in from it, then I will add more homes. So, I mean, I'm planning on adding like Megan Estates, Finley Ridge, you know, some of these outlier.
How do you add homes? Like, do they have to pay or okay, if I want to get,
I could add you to the list.
It's free.
Yeah, well, for you it is.
Okay, yeah.
If I add you to the list, of course,
You're
that comes out of.
special.
Well, I mean that obvious. I mean the revenue. I've got to make a living,
but not me, not the whole special deal stuff. Like normally,
if I added your entire neighborhood here,
yeah,
then it would come out of what I would be able to take home as income. But that's why growing it as far as the number of advertisers or sponsors that I have is significant.
This is my deal. If someone is watching right now and they're like, man, I want to be able to get monthly subscriptions of this magazine, how can they go about it?
They
Like,
can email me or,
Okay.
And then it may be a little bit of time before I can add them to the list, because what I generally do is I will add a neighborhood at a time. Or like when I did the last ad, I think I did 200 and something homes.
Also, you don't just add like individuals.
Who's got time for that? There's people that do that for me. But I mean, that's not to say that if there are not, a few individual homes that are like, hey, I mean, I had added somebody that was from Tahlequah. It was been like last year, that lives like in Kansas. And so they contacted me and I added them to the list so that they could get it.
How do you add a neighborhood though? Do you like contact everyone in the neighborhood? Like how?
I contact the office that I work with and say, hey, I want this area.
And they do all that stuff.
They tell me what it's going to cost me as far as increase and, I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
So what with the Chamber of Commerce? What do you do there? Like, what is your role?
So I am I'm an ambassador for the chamber, and so essentially my job is, I'm required an X number amount of hours that I spend in the community with businesses, trying to essentially recruit new businesses to join the chamber, so that it's dually beneficial for me to be in that role. So it just seemed like a good idea, and I just recently got the chamber to start contributing every single month. People from Tahlequah know that there have been some things happening within the chamber that caused a lot of mistrust. And we have a new director at the chamber. Sorry. And guys, he's got amazing ideas. And he's got a history of being able to turn chambers around. Nathan Reed, he is... it was important for me to help the chamber work towards changing the palate in people's mouth and their taste buds when it comes to working with the chamber, because they've got good people in there. They've got people that are coming up with ideas and bringing new things to the community, because we are growing.
Yeah.
And you said you've been in there. It's just new to you.
Yeah,
right?
like a couple months. Like I've been to one meeting.
So you're new. Right?
I am new.
Yeah.
But
I really feel like there is no better person to pick for that role than you.
Yeah,
well, it's not picked. I mean, it's a pay to play type of situation, but I paid to play.
Yeah,
but it's important to me because the community. I mean, it's all about community, and the chamber is about community.
Because
right?
your magazine plays a big role with connecting people. You work with. I've seen you do like lots of things with and for businesses, even with your magazine and outside your magazine.
I've even modeled clothing for one of my clients.
Yeah, I've seen you. I just feel like you probably just go to a boutique and you're like, hey, can I buy some of your dresses and post it online? Just help you guys,
right?
Like
I would have done it anyway, but she's one of my clients.
Yeah, I see you do like fantastic things with and for businesses in Tahlequah. So I'm like, I mean, if they needed someone to represent them, there wouldn't have been a better person to work with. So it just
I can get you in front of the people with the buying power. So it's it's
and like you
beneficial.
said, like it's your personality. You have the personality for it. You're very like a people person. I can tell. I can tell you're a people. I don't really know you very well, but just even talking to you, you're a people person. You have a good personality to do all of these things, and
it's fun.
Let me ask a question, and you might not know a lot about this because but it's weird. And I hope we can probably get the director of the Chamber of Commerce. When Starbucks came to Tahlequah, there was the whole
oh my gosh,
they would ruin small businesses and all that stuff. Now, this is my thing personally. I feel like you need those big organizations in your community. The Walmarts, the Starbucks, the Now, but you also want small businesses to thrive.
Right.
So, in your opinion, how should that balance play?
That's a complicated question because I really do, like, when I get a chance, I do go to the Lift, and I do go to Kroner and Bear, and I do go to Boutique, and but a single mom with two kids, but I'm morally, legally, financially, ethically responsible for 5, and that's a whole nother story I don't want to get into.
We'll talk about it. I forgot that. We'll talk about
Ish.
it. Yeah.
I'll go into some of it, but there's just ways I can't go buy laundry soap from a local person. I go through too much of it.
Right.
But I don't know. I think that large corporations are good for the community, but I do feel like there has to be an emphasis on the small businesses because those are our neighbors. Those are your friends' parents. Those are the people that are not difficult to get a hold of to sponsor sporting events.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you ever see Walmart. Do they sponsor sports events? I'm not a big sports fan, so don't judge me.
I have never seen anything.
Yeah, it's
they don't do local sponsorships like that.
Yeah.
And what you said is, it's actually funny when we have like help in crisis, when they do like their runs, and you see all the sponsors, they are mostly local.
They absolutely are.
Yeah, when you see events that, even looking at your mag, they are mostly local.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you make a valid point that these big organizations, because of their the big scale that they operate on, it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So is it something of when you can support the small businesses?
Absolutely.
And there's something I got off your Facebook page. Look at this.
Oh, gosh.
McDonald's can mess up your order
I mean,
1,000 times.
I
and you
jacked
still
that from
support.
somebody else's page somewhere along the line.
But it's very
But it's
true.
true.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's very true. You go to Walmart, you get
But you still go
bad
back.
experiences, but you still go back.
We're checking our own groceries at this point, guys. We don't even get paid for that.
Yeah. And then you go to a small local business, they make one mistake and you're not going back.
Right?
Or you bash them on social media
Yeah.
and people don't want to go to it. Yeah.
Bad word of mouth
Yeah, you go
travels so
to-
much faster.
You go to
it's
maybe a
awful.
Starbucks, one bath, you still go back. You go to the lift, maybe something happens. Nope, you're not going back to the lift.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, like, if you have a bad experience with one of those business owners, 99.8% of the time, if you have a civil conversation, a respectful conversation,
Yeah.
they're going to make it right.
Yeah.
Walmart doesn't care. How many trillions of dollars do they make every 2 seconds? Like, it's ridiculous.
Who would you even have a conversation with a Walmart?
The manager who will take it up to somebody, and that's not like, look, Walmart, Starbucks, those people, those people keep our community employed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
But like they care,
yeah.
but the business doesn't
Right.
really care because you're replaceable as a consumer.
Yeah, I just thought it was very important that we hit on that. And when I saw this on your page, I just thought it was very important that we you
I don't
really,
even remember posting that. But that just shows you how true I am to how I think and I feel. I mean, if you haven't had good,
I feel like those small businesses are like the core of community. You know, and those big businesses, like, I don't want to lose them. I mean, Walmart, as if they can all come into Tahlequah, it's perfect for Tahlequah.
right?
But we can't afford to lose the core.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like for every community, the small, because they are like families within Tahlequah. These are like one of us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? If you look at COVID, for example, 2020 was rough but
Yeah, but I'm telling you, Tahlequah showed up for the small business owners.
Yeah.
When the business owners started making changes to the way, like the restaurants, to the way that they made sure that they kept their people employed while still serving the community. Like, man, the precautions that people went through, like gloving up, masking up, like car side service, like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and people stepped up within the community. I mean, there was an insurance agency here that, like, for like a week, they gave like $5 or $10 vouchers to different people who, I can't exactly remember how it went down, but like they were paying for people's lunches to make sure that these local businesses were getting money. And I was like, that's
cool.
freaking
And that's what it's all
brilliant.
about. Like our community pulls together.
They do.
You know, you don't see
Mm-hmm.
Walmart or Starbucks or places like that doing stuff like that.
Right.
So it's like,
And they can afford to. That's the crazy
Right.
thing. And here's another thing that's really important that I want to make sure that I, like during this, that I point out. So one of the things like that I learned and that became very evident to me, and I hadn't really thought about prior to working child welfare, was nonprofits. So if you'll notice in the magazines, I feature a nonprofit every single month.
Yeah.
For me, that's important because there is no, unless you're like in a huge organization and you're way up on like the chain of command, there is no money in helping people feed your soul.
Yeah.
And so what I chose to do is to make sure that I feature a local nonprofit, because there are so many people, so many good people doing things here, but you don't know about them because they don't have the money to advertise. And so for me, it's important to talk about, in fact, with Boutique, every second Thursday of the month, she actually donates 10% of her in-store and online sales to a nonprofit organization. So what her and I've decided to do.
That's something those small businesses do.
Yeah. So what we decided to do is, whenever she came on as one of my sponsors, the nonprofit that we're going to like build our list out for a while, but the nonprofit that she decides to support on those second Thursdays is going to be the nonprofit that I feature every month that month.
oh, that's cool.
How do you pick who or what company, what organization you feature on the magazine? Is it open to anybody, everybody?
It is, at this point is. So like the first 13, 14, really like the first 13 magazines, I gave the business owners, the families of the business owners who saw what I had before I had an actual product. Like all I had was a magazine of like, this is what it's going to look like. And this is what, those are the first, I feel like sorry.
You're
So
good.
you're good.
Those are the first families that I chose to feature. So like, Patsy's not one of them, but like the Shankles. And so she actually, I decided to feature her because her story is just, you'll get goosebumps and just fall in love with her. She's an amazing woman. But I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, don't say. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, you have to read the story.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I have featured Josh Hutchins and Tori Dotson and his family, or Dr. Dotson and his family. Gosh, the Hutchins, the Yurtons. I mean, those were the families that believed in what I had and what I was doing before I actually had something to like, hey, this is mine.
Right.
I just had a sample that said Mayberry Neighbors, like Andy Griffith,
Trust me, I won't put my name or shout out on something that I'm not like 100% about. Unfortunately, not really everybody can get it because of the way you distribute.
Right.
But just like a teaser, this is the June.
But you can find copies
edition.
around. They're around.
What places?
Well, I mean, I hand deliver my magazines to my clients every single month. There's a couple places that I drop a few just because it's
In Tahlequah, right?
yes. Like you can find them like at the lift. I usually drop a couple copies up there. Even though, you know, they're not my clients yet, but it's important because it's a coffee shop. You know what I mean?
The lift.
The lift.
What are you waiting for?
They're going to kill me.
It's probably going to be like,
Right.
yeah. No, but the lift is an amazing place too. Like,
It is.
Yeah.
I don't even drink coffee, but I go, when I do, I
The
drink their
lift
coffee.
It's fantastic. It's an
Actually, they
amazing
got me drinking coffee.
place. Yeah.
I tried to pick up the habit in college and only had a burnt time.
Yeah, but seriously, the June edition for the Tahlequah Neighbors, it's amazing. There's a fantastic story of
Christy
family,
Warren.
on the front page, and you want to read it. We're gonna play like a quick game.
Okay.
Again, I got this off your page.
Oh my gosh.
What state was this in? The prank, the
I don't know who I stole that post from, but I thought it was brilliant. Tahlequah needs to jump on board with the
Sign wars.
sign wars.
Yeah,
yes.
it was crazy. Businesses had sign wars. It was started by this music, whatever. And they were like, hey, Super Shoes, want to start a sign war? And it's just putting up signs, calling out other businesses. And, you know, it was crazy. And the funny thing for me was churches joined in.
Yes.
I mean, this shoe and this music. Look at this one, because your shoestring never got anyone a date. And then some Japanese sushi steakhouse goes, Super Shoes and Bridge Cowdro. Shoes and strings help get the date, but we seal the deal. You know?
Sushi.
And then where's the Where's
Seems
the
like Red
church?
Moon could even get in on that.
Yeah, that's the church. The church goes, pianos need tune, Mikado costs dollars, shoes wear out, Jesus is forever, honey. And it just goes back and forth. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna give you 4 businesses that sponsor you and work with you.
That I challenged to get this war started.
Yeah, you challenge them and you tell me what you think their sign should read and who they should call
I
out.
don't know if I could tell. Like, I'm not good at coming up with puns like that or whatever you would call them.
Sarah, you're pro. You can do
But
it.
I feel like the people who would have the best, would get the, I don't want to say the best, who could be super creative with it would be Rum Runners, At the Y Liquor.
Okay, no, wait. Rum
Yes.
Runners, first of all.
Is a liquor store.
Who should they call out?
I don't know. It's kind of a fun little thing between them and At the Y Liquor Store.
So you think they should call each other out?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Just give me one of them. Pick any one of them. What should Rum Runners say to At the Y?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
Let's come up with something.
I will
Yeah,
ask the
no
camera
idea.
person.
Liquor? I don't even know her.
Look, listen.
I feel like she's been sitting on that since we had this conversation.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. If it goes around Tahlequah, like Hudson's law firm.
Hutchins, not Josh Hutchins.
Yeah, who should he call out? I need you to give me
Oh.
one.
Gosh.
Let's have a call out.
You know what? Actually, he has actually done one of his ads.
Let me
For-
play this. The
I
library,
think that like Celeste
Look at
Looney
this.
Insurance would be.
the accountant firm goes shoes, strings, sushi. Your girl will leave if the IRS is after you. And the library goes, we try to find time to join the C-Box sign war, but we are fully booked.
But
As in, it was just super interesting.
so I think that there's
loved it.
kind of a fun relationship between like Josh Hutchins and Celeste Looney Insurance, and she is brilliant when it comes to like plays on words.
So are you basically asking Josh to call?
Yeah, I think that could be fun, Josh.
You want to tell him what to say?
No. I'm not good at that. Not on the spot.
Basically.
She's just saying that we need a sign war in Tahlequah.
I just feel like it would be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
It could be fun.
Tahlequah sign wars. Just start something.
As long as
up.
everybody doesn't get offended about something, like
Right.
it's all in fun.
It's a fun
Who's
thing.
gonna get,
I don't know.
it's
Somebody's
joking.
always offended about something.
Come on, everybody. You guys chill, man.
Not any of mine. You might want to cut that.
It's just really good to have you.
I think that you have great war sign.
Oh no, she's like
I
an
might
English
recruit her.
professor, so she probably
Even
has,
better.
mhm.
At least it'll be grammatically correct.
Yeah.
You can probably
Grammar matters.
draw up a line of sign war languages.
You
and
could
we can just
start
put
some
them
kind
out.
of. You're off for the summer now, right? Oh, I have a job for you.
Oh boy.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, no.
All right. It's really
Not off the table. I'm just saying.
really, really good to have you and just talk about it. It for me, it was just interesting to talk with you after all that you went through and experienced, and then to see all that you're currently doing. I just thought it was beautiful.
Here's the thing with all of that. I can be a victim of my circumstance or I can be a survivor of it.
Absolutely.
You know, what I do with my experience, and what I choose to do with that is what's going to make or break me. And what I choose to do is either going to motivate somebody and inspire somebody. Actually, real quick, I had shared stories. Like it took me like 4 years to share like what had happened. People knew something happened, but they didn't know. But I shared pictures and I had people from like different areas of the country like message me about it because my story had touched them.
Yeah, and
So-
I think it's important that we let people know that even right now you're still healing.
Oh yeah.
There are still things that you're struggling with. I know we talked about it. You still have trust issues. You still, you still struggle with stuff. So someone doesn't look and just be like, well, I mean, maybe she's just. It's
Crazy.
probably. I don't know, but when you're probably by yourself, you still have, things that you struggle with, but it's been a process. The core of it was you determined that you were not going to sit down in that situation and be a victim of the circumstance. Like you said, you got up and you moved on from it.
Yeah. I mean, I had to sit in it and feel what I was feeling.
Was
and
there
processing.
something that helped you? Was there like a support system, or was it something, or was it the kids, or like what?
I think the kids kept me sane-ish.
It's kind of different when you have something like that happen and you have to go and you have kids. You
because
and
they saw it, because I had to like be concerned with how this impacted them, and while trying to figure out like, guys, he had never even called me outside of my name, maybe like 3 times in 5 years, and I probably was being whatever he called me. Like I like to cuss like a sailor, so cuss words don't offend me. But like for him to just like he had never 5 years with him. And that does something to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to like not lose my stuff. And actually, you know, for about 7 months, I just kept going. Yeah. And then I ended up having to have a procedure that like kept me out of work for a couple weeks. And I had to sit in it. I couldn't distract myself with work. After my 1 week post-op, I could not stop crying. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
So how'd you get through that? Like,
antidepressants. I had to not feel something long enough to be able to process it. But then I did go to counseling. My son was in counseling.
Yeah.
You know, I took all the necessary steps that I needed to do, and I probably should still go to counseling, but it's hard, especially I was going until COVID hit, and then it was just like, we're quarantined, we're not quarantined. We're quarantined, we're not quarantined. Oh, the kids are in school, so I'm going to go back. But counseling, and then if I didn't have my mom, if y'all don't know my mom, she's a badass. Can I say
shout out to you? That's we don't.
Like my mom has been through some things, and she I don't know. I wouldn't.
Is she here in Tahlequah?
She is. She's a music teacher here.
Oh well.
At Greenwood.
Well, shout out to her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. She's like strength.
Well, hey, we talked about the magazine, we talked about what you do for the Chamber of Commerce, and it's one more thing you're involved with. I think this is recent. Racism Stinks, an organization out of Tulsa. We're not going to go very deep into this,
right? No, it's just
yeah, but just tell us about
like racism stinks. What else do I need to say? Right. Yeah. It's just an organization that is it's not completely launched yet. People know about it, but it's a way for people to open up and have conversations with people who don't look like you.
Yeah.
You know, like at the end of the day, communication and like, I don't know. Yeah. You've got to have hard conversations, and that's what the goal is aimed towards.
Yeah. And I mean, I've looked into the organization, and it's amazing what they are doing and the plans that they have. Yeah. So it's just good that you got involved with them.
I am an ally.
With them. Yeah, that's really cool. Hey, we have one game.
Okay.
And it's called This or That.
Okay.
It's easy. And we've had strong conversations. We've talked about a lot of things. And this is just one way for us to get to know you.
Okay.
And so I want to do it through a game. Okay, so it's time to play This or That.
Okay.
We give you 2 things, and you just tell us which one you prefer. I'll go first.
Okay.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Rich friend or loyal friend?
Loyal.
That's cool. Phone call or text?
Depends on who you are. That's one of those like...
Yeah. Okay, makes some sense.
So what's worse, laundry or dishes?
They're like none.
I make my kids do the dishes. I run the laundry through, but I make sure that they help fold and put it up. And I don't even do a good job at that. I'm failing as a mom on like the Susie homemaker side.
I can't wait to when I can make my kids do the
yeah, I was like, I think all of us moms do.
Makes me crazy.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it because it's tedious.
Yeah. When I got this one, it actually said Facebook or Twitter, but I know you don't do Twitter, so I changed it. Facebook or TikTok. Yeah.
Depends on what you're talking about. As far as me posting and engaging people, I'm much better at Facebook, but I'm like a TikTok stalker. I will lose hours on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by people, man. Like there are so,
Yeah.
if you don't know who your tribe is and you've had a hard time in whatever crazy town you grew up in, finding your people, you can find them on TikTok.
I don't think I can do TikTok, man. I just feel like, I feel like TikTok, Snapchat. I feel like,
You could pull
man,
up TikTok now and pull up your home country and you'll be like, oh man, yeah. And I make him do it.
I don't know.
Bath or shower?
Shower.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Most
Chocolate.
important in a partner.
Sorry.
Oh,
Chocolate
Chocolate.
cake.
Sorry.
I will eat chocolate cake for breakfast. No guilt.
Most important in a partner, intelligent or funny?
Funny. I mean, you can't be like dumb.
I was going to be like, okay, funny and dumb. Like, is that what you want? Okay, yeah.
No, because there's like a fine line between
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They
You
can
gotta
be
have quick
smart.
wit. You've got to have
Right.
like tasteful sarcasm, and that is an art. Like
Yeah.
Big party or small gathering?
small.
I thought you were going to say big party.
No, like my ideal of the perfect time is like good beer, great music, excellent conversation, and maybe a fire pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, so it says toilet paper over or under?
Over, but I watched a TikTok that explains
Yes.
why. Do you know why they do the over under thing?
Why?
Because originally, and I can't no, I think it was the under. If you pull from underneath, I think this is right, don't quote me, but it was like toilet paper companies, crap, which one was it? But one of them is like, if you do it over or under, I can't remember.
I just feel like it has to be over.
But no, because the idea, the way the toilet paper companies did it is like whatever the way they show it, then you're more likely to pull more toilet paper, so you're using more. Like it's strategic.
That does make sense. I think
hadn't-
it's under because if you would pull it, like, it would roll. Like,
I'm thinking like the Charmin commercial whenever
Yeah.
the bear is.
Yeah.
I think that it's over. I think
is it?
I think so. They want you to do that because you're
trying
going to
to,
pull
like,
more.
picture-
No
Sure.
more. I don't know. I just have never. I've never liked it under. I just feel
It
like
makes
should
me
be over.
uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
like a square, like tiling that like you've got one little section that's just like
Yeah.
I've been at somebody's house and seen it, and I've like switched it because it bothers me.
Oh god. That's
But
funny.
in my house, it just ends up like on the thing because
Yeah.
everybody's too lazy.
I think
to-
Maddie likes to do it under.
Okay, the original patent image.
That don't you don't
Okay.
need to.
Of the patent for toilet paper is under.
because you don't understand. You don't see how much you're taking.
She likes to do it under because I know I've changed.
I like to do over,
Okay.
but I'm not like a stickler about it. If it
Okay.
as long as it's
She's
on-
just happy you put the toilet paper on the roll.
as long as
Okay.
as long as I can wipe my butt.
There you go.
That's all she cares about.
Okay. So we go pancake or waffle.
Pancake.
TV shows or movies?
I really don't watch a whole lot of TV lately. I like to binge watch, so TV shows.
If you can drive, would you prefer to drive or just fly?
I don't know. I like to drive. I love my windshield time. That's
For
one of the
me,
things I miss about
yeah.
driving back and forth to Tulsa because I would just drive and that's where a lot of my healing came from was on the road all the time. Just
Yeah. I prefer to drive any except
but
if
I
it's
love
like
being in
too
a
far.
plane too. Like,
No, driving any day for me.
of course, you probably like.
You?
Yeah, I would drive. I mean, I'm like you. If it's too far, then yeah.
Yeah, if it's too far, I have to fly in. But
Driving's, yeah.
If it's more than like 12 hours in the car, I'd rather drive
yeah.
because that's especially if I got kids with me. It's a long
Okay,
way to be in
so
a car.
Working alone or on a team?
On a team. That has probably been one of my biggest struggles is going from working, always having people to work with and bounce ideas off. And like, I'm one of those people that get energy from people.
Yeah.
Working alone has been a challenge
Yeah.
because my discipline is not awesome, but I'm still doing good.
Yeah. No,
Ish.
you are. Movie at home or at the theater?
At home, it's too expensive to go to the theater.
Yeah.
It shouldn't cost $60 for two people
Yeah.
for a ticket, popcorn, and pop. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's true.
Horror movies or comedies?
Define horror movies. Like, I like psycho thrillers. I like psychology thrillers.
I thought you were going to go for horror. That's what I
No,
thought.
not like. I think most of them are cheesy.
Yeah.
I like the ones that make you think like, huh, that could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. City or countryside?
I don't know. Both. I need to be close enough to be able to get to a city, but close enough to just like get away from the
Be by
city.
yourself.
I think they call it the suburbs or something, but whatever.
TV or book?
TV.
TV any day for me.
I wish I was one of those people. I envy people who are like
Readers.
read for fun.
Yes.
I really
My attention span is terrible.
Same thing too. I wish I was a book person, but no.
I really do
don't.
because I feel like it would be a lot smarter and like further in life.
Yeah.
Because I hear that's how people get ahead.
Further in life.
I mean, really, all the people that I know, they're like, you should read da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on top of that.
Winter
Can you put it in a movie?
For real though,
Like,
that's
but
how I
and
am.
not change it. Like,
Yeah. Winter or summer?
what?
Winter or summer?
Fall. You said fall, right?
Oh well, I should have answered in there.
I'm a summer person for sure. Like
Are you done with the
It just depends.
No, I have one more.
It depends on, like, if it's, I don't like being hot. Like, I am an angry person when I'm hot. If I'm near water, I'm good. But my theory, you want to hear my theory? Because it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
I prefer winter over summer. This kind of answers your question. I prefer winter over summer because I
Yeah.
can always put more clothes on. I can only take off so much before I have to register as a sex offender.
It's true.
Well,
Indecent exposure. Like, if you
I'll take some.
will go to jail for that.
I don't like the cold.
Yeah.
Probably it's just because of where I'm from, but I don't like the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
Honesty or others' feelings?
It's always feel like you can be honest and still be
Yeah.
considerate of people's feelings. It's not about what you say; it's about how you say
Right.
it. Your vocabulary, your voice inflection, your
Yeah.
body language. I think you should always be honest.
I don't know why I had this here, but I know the answer to this one: beer or wine.
A beer girl.
Yeah, I know.
I like beer.
I know. Hey, Sarah, it was good having you.
good to be here.
It was good to get to know you more, get to kind of get more insight to what you do, and just tap from the knowledge that you have. I really hope we can get the director. I'll work with you on that one of the Chamber of Commerce, and just kind of stuck with him and see. Just get his plans.
I'm confident that it would be something that he'd be open to doing.
Yeah, let's get his plans.
Let me check. You might have to cut that out. So I'm like, no, just kidding. No, he really is. He's really great. He's got a lot of great ideas for the community, and I think that if anybody has a bad, perception of the chamber and things that have happened, like, reconsider.
Yeah.
It's all right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We had Sarah, and you heard her story, and most importantly, see what she's doing despite all she's been through. That's what the Go Podcast is about: sharing people's growth stories and working with you through your growth story. Like I always end this with, there is a lot of negativity going on in the world right now, especially around racism. And like I always say, spread some love, spread some hope as you step out this week and be kind to someone. I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Grow Podcast. Love you guys. Thank you.